What's going on, everybody? Josh here. And in this video, I'm driving. And I'm trying to pay attention and do a video at the same time. And I'm in the residential area, so safety first. In this video, this is going to be number 2 of day in the life, just to show you guys like what I do. And the reason why there's been a day in between is twofold. One, I had to test out how the first video went and see if it actually even worked. My old phone always had issues uploading to YouTube, so I didn't want to commit a bunch of time to videos that wouldn't be able to upload to YouTube in a reasonable manner. This video is going to be significantly shorter than the other one. The other one was like an hour long. Today I got too many things to do and it's already like halfway through the day. So there will be much less content. But the other reason was because yesterday I had jury duty. And a couple funny things happened. One, I've had jury duty before in the past, and when I had it up in Maryland, the Maryland system, they're pretty strict, at least the courthouse that I went to. And they pretty much keep you in one area. Their facilities weren't that up to date, so that was the main reason why they kept you in one area, was because they had to basically keep you where they could call you. But down here in Palm Beach Gardens, the thing that's awesome is they have like 3 or 4 different areas in a courtyard where they can still call your name. So what that does is it allows you to kind of roam. You don't have to stay in a stuffy room, you know, watching boring, lame, old movies. So that was pretty cool. And the second thing that was pretty cool was within about an hour and a half of me being there, they released me. So I thought that was awesome, because then I got the rest of the day to myself. The thing that was not awesome was I had some of the cafeteria coffee, and I really think that there was something in there that disagreed with my stomach, because pretty much from the point I started drinking that coffee till the end of last night, my stomach was killing me, and I had the shits, and it was super not cool. My tummy's feeling better now. I had intended on doing a deadlift session yesterday with all my extra time and spend time on my novel yesterday, but instead I pretty much spent it in bed and on the couch just trying to keep my stomach under wraps, because it was killing me. So today is a new day, and I'm not gonna lie, I spent the morning kind of just taking care of little tiny things, but not really being productive. I took the dog out and I cleaned up the house a little bit. That's about it. But I'm gonna go do that deadlift session now. If I'm feeling good and the program is slated for a heavy deadlift session, then that's what I'll do. If I'm not, then I'm just gonna do some light stuff and then maybe move over to some full body workout after I get a main deadlift session in. And just to give you guys some perspective of where I'm coming from right now, I lost a bunch of weight around the summer, and about 55 pounds. And then I restarted a program that I've done before for strength, because here's the thing, when you lose, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but when you lose weight, you're inevitably going to lose strength, partially because of leverages and things feel differently, and mechanics don't work the same when you're fat compared to when you're thin. But the other part is, you lose a little bit of muscle mass. So I figured, I felt that the amount of weight that I lost, and I'm a big guy. For those of you that don't know, I'm 6'4", and when I started that journey, I was 330 plus pounds. At one point, I think I was even 335 pounds. So that was pretty crazy. And I got all the way down to, I think the lightest I was 277. 277, maybe 276. So that's a really significant amount of weight to lose. And then I was kind of hovering for a bit, and I realized that my strength had really taken a hit, specifically in my bench. So what I did was I started a program that anybody who's done powerlifting might be familiar with. It's called 531. I've been building up my strength, but when you focus on strength and you're not doing the same exercises as you would do for like metabolic and body fat type resistance training, then you're going to gain a little bit of weight back. And I did. I gained about, I would say, 15 pounds. It fluctuates, 10 to 15 pounds. So my push this time, though, is to drop again some more. Maybe I'll be able to drop about 30 pounds. And also, the other thing is, when I strength train, generally speaking, I eat whatever the fuck I want. So while I was still doing intermittent fasting and some other protocols that I think are really good to both maintain weight and lose weight, because I was eating whatever I wanted, that's where the gains came from. Particularly when you do heavy resistance training coupled with kind of shitty eating, then you're bound to gain some weight. So I'm kind of excited in some ways because my body feels like it needs a break. I can start to feel things sore because I'm lifting heavy a lot, or I have been over the last like 4 months. So I'm kind of excited to give my body a break. And then I'm also excited to see the body fat change that's going to happen from now until whenever I decide to stop. I'm going to go at least until the new year, and I may go a little bit longer than that. All of it depends on how much I lose, how fast it gets lost, how I feel, how my strength is. I never try to do one thing for too long. And even the strength training thing that I've been doing, I feel like 4 months, we just started the 4th month now. So it's been like three and a half maybe, give or take. But I feel like 4 months is a long time. Some people do it for 6 to 8 months, but their main goal is strength. I love powerlifting movements, and I think they're fun. And don't get me wrong, strength is important for everybody, but it's not like my number one goal. I don't think it's the most important thing in the world. And now that I'm in my mid 30s heading to 40, I also am trying to keep an eye on not both aesthetics, but health. And especially for someone who is as big as I am, you have to be careful about heart health and body fat, because there are a lot of studies that show links between the two. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is most of those studies are links between people who have less lean body mass. People who have higher lean body mass and they're not doing steroids or some kind of crazy drugs or supplements that are like making their heart race and do weird things or messing up their endocrine system. They're actually they're more healthier pound for pound than the average person, which most people fall under when they take those studies, because most of those studies aren't done on like elite athletes or even just regular athletes. And another thing to take into account is most of those studies aren't done on people who have specific kind of eating regimens as well. So whenever I hear those studies, I try to listen to the parameters and the control methods to identify. 9 times out of 10, it's just like your average American person. So either way, though, there's no doubt that obesity and being big is not congruent to health, but more importantly, longevity. And for me, that's one of my bigger goals nowadays. I feel like when you're young, the most important thing is to build muscle and strength. And then as you get older, it's to maintain that muscle and maintain health. because one of the other big issues for people who are older is that they didn't start with a lot of muscle mass in the beginning, so they lose so much. And because they didn't start out with a lot to begin with, like they wither away until they're not even strong enough to walk, or they're not strong enough to go up steps, and then they trip and fall and they break a hip because their bones are brittle, again, because they're not strong. So there's kind of compounding effects. But on the flip side, there is a point where too much muscle and too much mass can be hindrance as well. So if you wanna be a fat fuck when you're younger, it's okay. But as you get older, you have to start weaning it down. And in my case, that's my goal from now on. I'm gonna focus more on longevity, try to make sure I don't injure my joints too much, while also maintaining strength. And I'm sure there will be spurts within each year where I go on a 1 to 3 month spurt of strength training. But 90% of the time, it's really going to be maintenance or longevity focused, because especially those of us that fit into the millennial category or below, meaning that you were born after about 1980 something, maybe it's 1978, but I really think it's the early 1980s. If you were born after that, then you're pretty much in this category where it's very likely that you're going to live to 100, if not 85, almost for sure. And those last few years of your life, and this is the other thing too, 100 is like the baseline. There's a very good chance you'll live past 100. But the question is, do you want those last 10 to 20 years of your life to be solid years? Or do you want them to be miserable, where you're trapped in your body, or your body cannot function? And the reason why this hits so close to home for me is because my grandmother on my father's side was wheelchair bound for the last decade of her life. And I love her, and she's a very strong individual mentally, but because she damaged her body so much in her youth by smoking, eating bad food, not exercising, the last decade of her life, she was trapped in a wheelchair, and she had to have other people wait on her, or to put it a different way, she could only do things if other people helped. And because of that, it made it difficult for her. And those last few years weren't as enjoyable as I would want them to be for my life. So that's a cautionary tale, and I know many of us have family members that are in that boat, and some may have it on the opposite side, setting a good example. But for me, for my life, I know that's what I want, and so that's why I've made these decisions. I'm looking towards the long-term statistics. Unless I get killed in some crazy accident while making a YouTube video, then there's a really good chance that I'll live to be 80, 90, 100 plus years old, and I don't want those last few years of my life to be rough. And speaking of people who live to be an old age, but are still vibrant and having a good life, Stan Lee is a perfect example. Anybody who follows the Marvel universe, anybody who's an 80s or 90s kid probably knows who Stan Lee is, or if you've seen a superhero movie. He's one of the co-founders of Marvel, the Marvel universe, and he created tons of superheroes like the X-Men, like Spider-Man. And this is a dude who lived through his bliss. And I'm not saying he was like super workout fanatic or anything like that, but because he lived through his bliss and he was semi-healthy, I mean, if you track throughout the years, you can see that like he maintained a fairly healthy body weight throughout the years. He was very active throughout the years. He stayed engaged with the community. That's another big thing. As people get older, they become detached from their community, and humans are social animals. So if you take that away from them, then you start to decline, both mentally and physically. So anyways, those are the thoughts that are always on my mind when I consider health. Yeah, as much as I enjoy powerlifting and strength, and that'll always be a component of what I do, I'm not trying to be the next top powerlifter. It just happens to be the thing that fits best with my body type, my personality, and so that's why I do those movements. But ultimately, my personal goals are just to be healthy and live a long, happy life. And I think people sometimes mistake living a long life with it being happy, and like those two aren't always congruent. You have to set it up so that it is. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I'm almost at the gym. The rest of the stuff will probably be pretty short because I have a lot of things going on. I don't know if I'm gonna have weekend videos because I have family coming into town, but my goal right now is to put out one a week, maybe 2 a week, and then progress from there. And then I'm also considering doing like Monomyth Mondays, where all we do is talk about the monomyth. And if I can get some other YouTube people involved, or some people that I know involved into doing a conversation, I'm also considering doing discussions about movies that I feel fit the monomyth really well, or also polymaths throughout the years who have demonstrated a really good example of the polymathic paradigm and mindset. All right, guys, I will see you in a second. Boom. And I'm back. And I'm waiting for my little one. She's at dance practice right now. I have workout beard going on. But I'll throw up some footage of the workout. It went pretty well. I was not feeling the best. As I said before, yesterday I had a bit of a stomach virus thing going on. So I didn't think today would go that well, and my strength has been down anyways. And surprisingly, although I've lost a little bit of weight, I hit 585 pretty good. It felt pretty light. Now granted, I was wearing straps, but I feel pretty confident that I could have gotten that with raw with my hands too. I just didn't feel like doing that today. So I tried 600 twice, and I got 600, like you'll see in the footage, it's like just there at my sticking point. So I feel pretty good about that. It's been a long time since I even tried 600 and got that close. So that's not too bad. That's I'll take that. And that's a good way to end November. I'm still going into December really thinking about having a major deload, keeping it all metabolic workouts, and not really focusing on strength that much at all. And it's for me, it's a little bit sad because I am seeing strength gains in a lot of areas, but as I said before, I'd prefer to focus on my body fat a little bit. This evening I'm gonna have my kids, so if we go skating or something, I'll take some footage of that. If not, then this will probably be the end of the episode. But if I don't see you this weekend, which is highly likely since I have other people coming into town, then everybody enjoy your weekend, and hopefully you get your Christmas trees up and stuff like that. Take it easy. Okay, so going for second round of deadlifts with this hoe. I'm gonna keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't break herself. It's 8 o'clock right now, so I'm not gonna go heavy this time though, even though I know I said that last time. I'm not gonna do it. All right, we'll see what happens. Pull. All right, guys, just to follow up on that workout, Susie ended up hitting a big PR. I think it was a 10 or 15 pound PR at 255 on the deadlift, which was really good. She came really close to 260, or maybe she tried 265. I think she would have gotten 260, but we jumped and it was a little much and she was done. And I mean, granted, that she already made a big PR. And then after that, came home, ate some good food, and I think I ate a cannoli. I will leave a picture below. But that was it. That was my day. Everybody have a good weekend. Take it easy.